Day one of the combine in the books yesterday. We're going to talk about who had good days. And obviously, there's one gentleman that had a fantastic day that I hope and pray falls to Miami at 11. What is up, Finn fans? Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday morning. Yesterday. I was gonna say last night, but it was like all day yesterday. Yeah, the defensive linemen and the linebackers doing their thing. We are going to go over as much of it as I possibly can with my brain, but I really quickly want to get into there was a trade. And I think this is the first like big official trade for the offseason, and this won't become official until the start of the league year on March 11th. But the first big official trade, the New York Jets are sending Jeremiah Johnson to Tennessee for defensive tackle Devondre Sweat. So Jeremiah Johnson, if you didn't know, obviously, as you could read there, Robert Saleh drafted him. So he wants him back, essentially. And then Devondre Sweat, who is a guy I liked coming out of the draft a few years ago, big nose tackle, definitely somebody that Glenn, he fell asleep during the combine. It doesn't really matter. Probably wants to add into his repertoire. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at some of the results here. And we're going to see who did what at what position. So we're going to do defensive end, defensive tackle, linebackers. That's who was today. And as you can see here from just the 40 time, these guys are fast. Now, Reese, who a lot of people think is going number 2 to the Jets, Bain did not do a 40, the defensive tackle from Miami University. He did not run a 40. But as you can see here, 4.46 for Reese. You had David Bailey out of Texas Tech with a 4.5. Malachi Lawrence with a 4.52. Trey Moore with a 4.54. Howell with a 4.59. Now, the Dolphins are in need of a pass rusher. So all options are available at 11, especially with Reese. Then you have the defensive tackles. Look at these numbers for the defensive tackles. Zane Durant, 4.75. I just want to let you guys know something, right? This isn't a small, 290 pounds. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous running a 4.75. That's not even the top of the echelon there. You had a 4.79 from Proctor, who's 6'2", 291 defensive tackle. You have Grace Halton, 4.82. Cool, that happened. 4.82, 293 pounds. Ran a 4.82. Like, absolutely bananas in pajamas. One guy that definitely helped his stock, I'm wondering if he's on there, Caleb Banks. Now, he ran a 5.04, but 6'6", 327 pounds, and he ran a 4.04. Now, the 10-yard split is where it really matters for these defensive linemen, because they essentially measure 10 yards, how quick they are in that aspect. 1.76. Like the fact that these defensive linemen are running sub fours, not sub fours, but they're running 4.7, 4.8. And like I said, you have the defensive ends over here running 4.4, 4.5. They're running sub fours, is crazy. Now, obviously, you have the quarterbacks who, run ridiculous. You have Lamar Jackson and all of them. Now, the ones that I really want to talk about is linebackers. Sonny Styles. I'm going to talk about him a lot today because Sonny Styles put on a clinic today and just had a fantastic day. 4.46 out of him. You had Caleb, who ran a 4.47. Anthony Hill Jr. ran a 4.5. Kyle Lewis, 4.53. I'm hearing very good things about Kyle Lewis. One guy I definitely like out of Texas Tech is Jacob Rodriguez. He ran a 4.57. I've done mock drafts for the fun of it. Look at the mustache on this man. I've done mock drafts for the fun of it, and I've grabbed him in the 3rd round. I like him a lot. 4.57, 0.16. His broad, his vertical is broad, 3-cone. These are the ones that really matter, is the 3-cone and the 20-yard shuffle there. But Sony Styles, I don't even know if he makes it to 11, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Look at these scores: 90, 90, 94, 4.46, 1.56. His vert was a 43.5. His broad was 11 foot 2 inches. His 3-cone was 7 seconds. His 20-yard shuffle of 4.6. Absolutely had a great combine. Definitely helped his stock. And like I said, I don't even know if he makes it to 11. I would love for him to get to 11, but just a beast of a man. And that's your DTs, right? Now I think tomorrow is offensive lineman. Let me double check. We'll double check the schedule. But let me give you who's tomorrow, or today. It's not tomorrow, it's obviously today. And then I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on them tomorrow. So today was your defensive linemen, linebackers. Tomorrow is your tight ends and corners. That is who I'm very interested in seeing. And I'm going to talk to you guys really quick as well before I get into who had good days today, even more about who the Dolphins met, because the Dolphins met with a few corners, which made me very happy. They met with Mansour Delaney, the LSU corner. He met with Miami, and they met with cornerback Jermod McCoy. So Jermod McCoy is a guy who I'm very there's a big fat question mark on him. I'll talk more about him tomorrow morning. Again, recapping today's what did I say today was tight ends and defensive backs. But he didn't play in 2024. Now he had an ACL injury. Obviously, it's not the same injury as it usually is. And his 2024 film is fantastic, but a year of him not playing just worries me. It really, really does worry me. I want to get back to kind of what happened today, though, because when I find out everyone that the Dolphins met throughout the whole combine, I'll talk about that when I recap it. I want you guys to look at this. Look at the comparison of Sony Styles to Calvin Johnson. They're both 6'5". Sony's a little bit heavier, 5 pounds heavier. He's got little shorter arms. Obviously, you got a wide receiver over here, but look at their 40-yard dashes. A 4.49 and a 4.4. Tell me you don't want Sony Styles at 11. Just absolutely ridiculous. Some of the top standouts of today, definitely Caleb Banks, the defensive tackle from Florida. Again, he's a big man, 6'6", 327 pounds, ran a 5.05 with a 32-inch vert for, again, that big of a man. Definitely coming off an injury last year. He missed it because of a foot injury, but I definitely see him going in the first round. You have Zane Durant, a defensive tackle out of Penn State. Again, ran that 4.76 40-yard dash. He's a big man, 6'1", 290. Not the biggest of men, but definitely moving for that size. You have Grace Halton, I think that's how you say his name, defensive tackle out of Oklahoma. Sorry, ran a 4.83 for a 6'3", 293-pound man. In 2025, he had 8.5 sacks with 26 pressures, 36.5-inch vertical jump, the third highest of any of the defensive tackles over the past 20 years. Malachi Lawrence out of UCF, 4.52 40. From what I'm hearing, the word juice always comes to mind when watching Lawrence's film, the sort of burst that show up during the combine workout. A lot of people see him going round 2. They see Grayson Halton being a top 100 pick. Same thing with Zane Durant. And again, I think Caleb Banks is going to go in the first round. Then you have Kyle Lewis, like I was telling you guys before, out of Pitt, 6 foot, 200-pound linebacker, ran a 4.57 with 39-inch vert, 10.5 broad jump. inside I've spoken to many. He's an immediate impact as a weak side linebacker. Ideal would be for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I can't speak English. Caleb Proctor, defensive tackle out of SE Louisiana. Again, a 4.8 40. 6'2", 291. He ran a 4.8. You're seeing a lot of these guys. Now they ask, how did the big top prospects do on day one? You have David Bailey, the edge rusher out of Texas Tech, who I think the Dolphins met as well. There's another player the Dolphins met that I didn't mention. Let me see. No, Auburn edge, Coldrick Falk. They met. But they met more than that. They definitely met more than that. But David Bailey had a good day. Keldrick Falk, like I said, the Dolphins who have met had a good day. Caden McDonald, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Obviously, Reese and Styles both had very good days today. Zion Young, now he didn't do his 40, but he still had a good day when he came to his drills, his cone drills, all that other stuff. But the biggest one and the biggest name that I'm hearing is Sony Styles. Sony Styles absolutely killed today. Had a fantastic day. Definitely is probably going to be a top 5 pick. I hope not. I hope he falls to 11. I would love him at 11. I love his size. I love his speed. But we'll see if that actually happens. Reese again. So Bain, who is the pass rusher out of Miami, I'm not hearing much about him. Obviously, he didn't do much, and he'll probably have his pro day and tape and everything like that. But there's a possibility he falls to 11. There's a lot of guys that I'm hearing, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that are having good days. That gives the Dolphins a plethora of options at that pick 11. Now, obviously, we're going to go more into this. I think I said 2 weeks after free agency starts, I'm going to start talking about the draft. You have March and then April, and the draft is the end of April. So I'll go into kind of Dolphins options at 11. I always give you guys like 3 or 4 picks I like at 11. But today was a good day for a lot of these defensive prospects. I'm hearing there's a lot of depth. The biggest one I'm hearing depth at is corner. There's a big depth at corner, so you could probably get some starters in the day 2 in the 2nd and 3rd round, which the Dolphins have 3 third-round picks. Could have more, depending on what happens with Minkah Fitzpatrick. But a good day. And again, Sony Styles. Circling that man. But will he fall to 11? I don't think so. Because if you look at teams that are ahead of Miami when it comes to the pick, Cincinnati could take him. Washington could take him. Cleveland could take him. Giants could possibly take him if they don't take a wide receiver. You got Las Vegas. 1 is obviously Mendoza. 2 is, from what I'm hearing, is Reese, but they could take him. Arizona, like literally anyone ahead of 11 could use a linebacker. So, come draft day, we're just going to be sitting there hoping and praying that Sony Styles falls. Will he? I don't know. I doubt it. Not after today. But comment below if you did watch day 1 of the Combine. Let me know who are your top performers, some of the guys, defensive linemen, whether DTs, DNs, and linebackers that you like, that you would like me to look more into. Comment below. Tomorrow I will be making another video. It will be out around this time at 7 a.m. Talking about how the corners, the secondaries and safeties, and the tight ends did. Dolphins need those as well. Dolphins have a lot of needs. There's not really any position in this draft that, or any of these prospects where I could sit there and be like, oh, we don't really need to focus on that one. Kind of need them all. So it's going to be a very eye-opening combine. And again, Sony Styles did fantastic. I'll see you guys tomorrow, unless news breaks later today. But like usual, stay classy. Everyone's up.